field time in the middle of Illinois. We unfortunately lost the die roll, but the sand is very good otherwise. This matchup's probably not terrible. I don't know. Let's find out together. Burn and Storm. Storm's pretty tough too. Storm's really good at killing you when you give them a lot of cards, believe it or not. Spirit Guide, eh? Hold on to that one for now. Let's play this. Yeah, Howling into Fever is okay. The question is, are we going to be able to keep up enough Boomerang effects to keep them off of Scape Shifting us? This deck is much, much worse on the draw. Much, much worse. It's another Boomerang. Okay, so I'm definitely shocking this in. We can get Titan next turn. I think I'm just supposed to accept that we're dead if we get Titaned. I think I'm just supposed to dictate here. It's a shame we don't have a Remand. There's 4 of those in here, right? Yep. The problem is that you let them draw a bunch of cards, Punt Master, so they're going to draw their answers to their ley lines and kill you anyways. Is the issue. Deal. Alright, so if we draw another Runeflare Trap here, we can kill them next turn. So that's the goal at this point, is to draw another Runeflare Trap. So on my YouTube channel, you can always find everything that we've played on this stream on my YouTube channel. So we're probably just supposed to dream big and hope to hit a Fevered Visions in our top 2 cards here, right? Because we're pretty likely to die otherwise. I just like draw step Vision Skeins, right? Yeah, I think I just draw step Skeins and like hope to hit a trap. Because they're going to go up to 8 cards in hand, and then Skeins will put them to 10. So I suppose now that they didn't crack Steve, do I just double Boomerang them here? Is that a thing? Do I just like double Boomerang them down to 4 lands? And then, yeah, I think since they didn't crack Steve, I just double Boomerang them. Because it gives me more chances to hit a Runeflare Trap and it puts more cards in their hand. Because, like, this gives me 3 more draws to find a Runeflare Trap, because I get 3 draws on my turn. I don't think we can die here. Famous last words, I don't think we can die here, but we'll see. Cycle Sweltering Sun, sure. So for those who aren't familiar, this is the primary kill condition in this deck. So if an opponent drew 3 or more cards this turn, you can pay 1 red instead of its normal cost. This deals damage to a player equal to the number of cards in that player's hand. So they could trip bolt us here. They could definitely trip bolt us. So if we find another Runeflare Trap, our opponent's going to draw up to 10. This will draw them up to 12, and then we'll kill them with double trap next turn. So do we try and... I have Remand to prevent, like, a Titan here. So I think we draw step this because I have Remand still. Because if I miss, I get to Remand them. Vision Skeins now to try and hit a land. Oh, yeah, because if I Vision Skeins now, I can then Cryptic off of pitching a Spirit Guide. Yeah, I like that. And now I can Boomerang plus Remand this turn, which is nice. Which is nice. So I can do this. Go. No, I think I'm just supposed to Boomerang, hold Remand at this point. Just, like, take another try next turn. Because, like, if they have untapped land Titan, they're just going to go untapped land Titan here, right? And then we're just, like, pitch Spirit Guide, Remand you, start my next turn. I'm really glad we've had alternative options rather than going for it, because if we've, at any point, if we would have gone for it. This deck is basically a combo burn deck. It's basically a combo burn deck. It's a lot of fun. It involves a lot of counting. Arcane Denial would be the nut in this deck. This is going to be a Search for Tomorrow into Cascade Shift. And we will pitch Spirit Guide and Remand the Scape Shift. We are getting into double bolt territory, which is a little bit scary. Definitely a little bit scary. I don't really have anything to do to play around that, though. So. No, I don't think so, Speedy. I've got stuff I gotta do around the house today after we finish up. If you didn't see, I posted some Hex videos on my YouTube channel. I recorded some stuff offline and then uploaded it to YouTube after the fact. There is a chance they don't play main board bolts. Some of these builds don't play main board bolts. So we get 5 shots at another Runeflare Trap here. That is a phenomenal draw. Why are you so tired, opponent? Why are you so tired? I forgot we had exhaustions in our deck too. All right, let's get this Fevered Visions going. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Do 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 do. Turn off auto yields. I want to turn off my auto yields because if we draw Noxious, I probably want to re-Noxious my Exhaustion. God, that's unfortunate. All right, what's the line? What's the line? I think it's play that. It's just play Fevered Visions to draw an extra card here, right? I should play Ensnaring Bridge in my deck. Do you see how many cards are in my hand right now? Do you see how many cards are in my hand right now? I could Skeins to start. Because that could hit us an Exhaustion. God, we are running bad. Bridge would stop Ulabog. Alright, we do have a draw step with this Fevered Visions. God. I think Cryptic Bounce Draw is bad here. I think I'm just supposed to hold up Cryptic plus Remand. Like, if they play Bolts, we're not beating Bolts at this point. So, like, there's not even a point in trying to play around that. Who's the next card? So you're saying there's, I don't know what their hand is, but all I'm going to say is there's a chance. All I'm going to say is, for some, by the grace of God, we are still in this game. By the grace of God, we are still... Come on! Just give me Runeflare Trap. Actually, we might kill them without a second Runeflare Trap here, huh? We might kill them without a second Runeflare Trap because they're down to 14, so like the second Fevered... I can't Noxious Revival anymore because I'm at 2. There's the second trap. Alright, you're dead. In spite of all of Moto's best efforts to make us brick off and die, we have killed our opponent. Alright. My opponent's timer has been replaced by a Q. I would like to direct everyone's attention to my opponent's timer. Oh, look, it's back to a number again now. All right, draw that. Draw that. All right, we did it. We did it. Hooray! All right, so we're on the scoreboard, chat. That's the step 1. We've won a game. We've won an entire game of Magic the Gathering. All right, I'm gonna board in these Counterfluxes because they seem fine. I'm gonna trim this Ebony Owl Netsuke. What else are we supposed to board out here? I always forget what we're supposed to board with this deck. What do we want to trim? Is there a reason this deck isn't playing Kami of the Question? Because you just want a blank creature removal? No, I don't I don't waste entire days of my life playing events like PTQs. It's not quite as bad value as going to a Grand Prix, but it's pretty close. Remand's pretty important here. Keeping my opponent off of their Titans and their Scape Shifts for a turn is very valuable. We won that game because of the Remand. This deck is like fun Panza. If you like the idea of Panza, but you don't quite have fun playing the Panza deck, this is the one for you. Do I want to trim this Noxious Revival? Yeah, I'm just gonna trim this Noxious Revival. Let's do it. It's kind of filler. Maybe I could trim a land on the draw. I could see that too. This hand is not good enough. It doesn't have any way to draw extra cards in it, which I think means it's a mulligan. Yeah, I'm gonna keep looking for a mine. This hand is not good, but we will keep it. I could see Nimble for Steven Prino. I think that's a little narrow. I think Nimble's a little narrow. No, Skeins is good. You need cards. The Skeins lets you trigger Runeflare Trap nicely, which is good. Hey, look. There's exactly the droid we were looking for. I'm doing well, Jade Kit. Good morning. It's morning for a little bit longer. Now, this is post-board, so our opponent likely has Nature's Claims and Rex Sages and stuff to kill things like our Howling Mine here. So they can Titan us next turn. Yep, that's unfortunate. Hearthstone does not have the viewership to be worth streaming. So, yeah, I'm mostly just playing it off stream now. Maybe I'll do an occasional video, but by and large, Hearthstone is not popular enough on the channel. It's pretty impossible to break into new games while streaming on Twitch. Breaking into an established game on Twitch as a new streamer basically requires multiple large hosts from someone who's already an established player in that game. So it feels kind of like a waste to spend time streaming Hearthstone stuff when I could be streaming Magic stuff. We probably don't have enough velocity at this point to keep it going. Just casting exhaustions to time walk them like isn't particularly useful when we're not also drawing cards alongside it. Hey, Zalgotha, thanks for the bits. I appreciate it. Yeah, Hearthstone's a great game. I streamed it a bit because the gameplay in it is very good. If you enjoy interactive card games, Hearthstone's current standard format is far more interactive than almost any Magic format I've ever played. Generates just quality TCG games, in my opinion. Alright, I think I plus Remand here at this point. Our goal is to, like, draw a land plus a Howling Mine here, basically. Yeah, that too. Like a lot of the rogue decks in Hearthstone, like, and I think that's just a sympathy of like a part of like their standard format. Like if we did viewer submitted standard decks in Magic, they'd probably be pretty bad too. I brought in Counterflux because it counters their payoff cards. Counterflux can also 1-for-1 a Bloodbraid Elf when you overload it. So if you let the Cascade trigger resolve and then you overload Counterflux, it's going to counter the Bloodbraid Elf and the card they cascaded into. You basically just, against combo decks with this deck, you need cards that buy you time. So like Counterflux says, hey, you're not comboing this turn. So it gives us another turn to like draw more Runeflare Traps that could be lethal or something along those lines. We didn't show up to mulligan turn 1 Howling Mine, chat. Yeah, but the thing is, Conqueror, is that, like, Magic Online tends to be a little bit more competitive than, like, a lot of local game stores. So, like, if your deck isn't competitive, like, a lot of the decks I reject when people submit, like, Modern and Legacy donation decks is that, like, they're decks that look sweet, but they're just, like, a little... Please, come on, Island. Blue source, blue source, blue source, blue source, blue source. God, we just could never lose this game if we drew a blue source there. It's unfortunate. They're decks that just, like, they're too slow and clunky, and they're not going to keep up with how aggressive the format is online, by and large. If we hit... I think this hand was a keep every time. If we hit a land there, it's just, like, so obnoxiously good. All right, we're one behind. Missing for that one turn could cost us this game reasonably. But we'll see. We're going to give it the old college best. Yeah, we'll see how the numbers are. I think I don't plan to sign off when the Grand Prix starts here, I don't think. Just because it's a limited Grand Prix. So I'm pretty sure I just want to stick Fevered Visions this turn. My opponent's only going up to, like, 5 lands at most next turn. Which means that, well, I get a chance to, like, exhaustion them and start boomeranging them and stuff. And, like, we're not that far off of, like, getting to Runeflare Trap them out of the game. So long as they're... I feel like we would have seen it through the breach if they would have had it in the first game. It was a pretty long game. We get 2 looks at a land next turn. Bloodbraid Elf's like their best card here. So this is probably an exhaustion turn. Although it could also just be like a double boomerang U-turn. Yeah, it's probably an exhaustion turn. What's going on, Amichel? Thank you. Alright, 16 from Fevered Visions. Bodhi Linux, B-O-D-H-I. So I could double Boomerang here. Do we like double Boomerang? If I double Boomerang, they go down to 3 lands. This puts them to 4. I think I like double Boomeranging here. Just, like, pick both your Valakuts up. I might Spirit Guide Runeflare Trap them next turn. It's probably going to get them pretty close to dead, right? A Priest of Gix with the $10 donation. Can we get some humility still in the queue? 10 out of 10. Thanks for the support. I'll get that added for sure. No, I can't do it during their draw step prototype because that's not how this Magic card works. They won't, this card won't be active for 1 until they draw the card off Fevered Visions. So next turn, we'll get to exhaustion them. They're probably going to take... They're going to take 2 from Fevered Visions, and then they're probably going to take 2 to 3... They're going to take, like, 8 or so from this. They're going to take 12 from this. So yeah, the exhaustion is probably going to be lethal because if they don't have a 1-mana card here, they're going to take 12. 12 this turn. No, the exhaustion's not quite lethal. I think I'm going to Spirit Guide Trap here. So they're going to draw up to 10. And then we'll trap them. So we have to let this trigger resolve. And I'm going to trap them for 10 here. And then next turn we can go exhaustion plus boomerang your untapped land. Isn't this deck hilarious, Nox? It's you'll love this deck. It's not particularly good, but it's fucking hilarious. So Cryptic Command, that's a good one too. So I get to go ahead and go exhaustion you. And then I'm going to tell them to pick up their stomping ground. Oh, I'm dead. I'm dead to another bolt. We're dead to bolt. God, I think I could have played around that. I have to sit there and think about it, but I think we could have played around that. That was really close. We're really bad at drawing Runeflare Trap so far today. Needed just like a second Runeflare Trap in our top couple. Yeah, could have bounced the creature. Yeah, definitely could have bounced the creature, right? Because that land wasn't going to untap anyways. Yeah, I wasn't thinking about double bolt. I was just assuming they were going to sacrifice this. Yeah, we could have bounced this. And then, the top of our deck is really fucking rancid here. But yeah, we could have used the Remand to play around it as well. A lot of small sequencing things there. The game's much easier with this deck when you can just like double trap and kill them early, but there's definitely play to it when you... And remember, that was a game too where like we missed our second land drop onto that game and it was still like down to the wire. We would have had better sequencing, we could have won. I think this is a keep with a scribe. Bear Sir, thank you for the 3-month resubscription. Hoot hoot to you. Thanks for the quarter viewer support. Welcome back. And like I said, part of the reason why I took donations to play this, not only because it was funny, but because the deck just generates like some really interesting games of Magic where you get to make a lot of decisions, and it puts your opponents in situations that they're not used to. Hobbs XD with the 2-month resubscription. Thank you very much and welcome back. Thank you to everybody who hanging out here today. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Happy Sunday to everybody else hanging out playing some Modern. Play a ton of Modern on this channel. If you're enjoying it, you can't catch all of it live, be sure to check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jeff Hoagland. Everything we play gets archived up there. Basic is land. I think most basic is land decks are okay matchups for us. We're looking for a mine effect with this hand, so like Howling Mine, Fevered Visions, Dictate of Kruphix, those type of effects. I would like to try and time walk you. Enjoy, pick your shit up. Being on the play with this deck with the Boomerang effects is so great. Especially when they have the tapped land. They're just like tap land when you're like, all right, Boomerang your land, go. Oh, look at that. I feel like we did deja vu. We were just here a second ago, weren't we? I feel like I've seen this movie before. Howling Mine effect. Howling Mine effect. Howling Mine effect. Howling Mine effect. Blood Moon. That's probably a good one to discard. Pick your shit up. I love being on the play with this deck. Oh, it's so great. Do you think our opponent's having fun? I hope I'm having fun. That's what matters, right? That I'm having fun. Ooh, Dictate of Kruphix. I think I actually just want to bounce their land again. Because, like, now, because I drew the 5th land, we can Dictate plus Remand. This is so weird. My opponent hasn't played any cards yet. Do you think their deck's broken? So, I actually don't want to give them an extra card with this, I don't think. So, like, next turn, we're just going to Dictate on their end step with Remand up. Unless we draw Fever Vision. If we draw Fever Visions, we're going to slam that shit. I'm going to leave that one for now. Yeah, because we'll just Dictate plus Remand because it uses our mana efficiently this turn. And this is why like a deck like this is just so fun to play to me, because like even though we lost that first match, like I had a good time playing the deck and making the choices that we got to make. Ooh, Dictate resolved. Mikokoro. Ooh, Ebony Owl Netsuke. Have a Howling Mine. I did let them get a second land into play. I did let them get... I probably should have let on this, right? I'm gonna remand my Howling Mine here. Think our opponent's happy that they're gonna get all the way up to 3 lands this turn? I hope they're happy. I'm such a giver. No, I don't think we Noxious the I think I want to save the Noxious for a trap. The Noxious is basically like the 5th trap in this deck. I'm upset you're not in costume. Whatever deck you enjoy playing, it's just, online is no different than any other format in Magic. You should play decks because you enjoy playing them. Return all lands to their owner's hands. I didn't realize how much I've missed this until we started playing. This is just quite excellent. I think we're just trapping them here, right? They're gonna go up to 10 cards. And then I can Noxious my trap and kill them next turn. Do you think like every burn player out there is like super jealous of my 1 mana deal 10? This is my 1 mana deal 10. How does it feel? How does it feel? Oh yeah, just taste it. Get him. Get him. None of that weak 1 damage 3 mana bullshit. Oh, they're a Grixis deck. Look at that. Discount on Urza's Rage. Ovo notices your Runeflare Trap. So we'll Noxious Revival this trap and then pick it back up next turn. We probably don't even need this trap to kill them. And we can actually just hardcast Runeflare Trap, can't we? The classic make them draw 3 cards on our turn. Excellent. Excellent. Alright, so on the draw, I think we want to just like trim the Eye of Nowheres. Runeflare is the most fun card in Modern, probably, right? Just good clean live-in. Good clean live-in. Another idea is, I wonder if it's crazy to just, like, brick their K commands. Is it nuts to just cut these and brick all the artifacts? Because, like, they're probably bringing in more shatters, right? Is it crazy to just do this? What do we think of doing this? I kind of like that. It's like takes us a little low on mine effects, but like I'm bringing in Chandra and Keranos as extra win conditions. Maybe this extra eye is worse than like a Nimble Obstructionist here. Because like they definitely have 2 to 3 K commands. They might even have 4 K commands in their main deck if they're like on the Corey Burkhart lifestyle. I kind of like this. I'm going to give this a try. Yeah, this is fine. It's no turn 2 Boomerang your only land, but it'll do in a pinch. If we draw Cascade Bluffs here, we can turn 1 Boomerang their land. We can stifle them on 2 with Bird and Ape, that is definitely true. Are y'all ready to Stone Rain them? Who's ready to Stone Rain the shit out of them? We are the best blue-red Ponza deck NA. The best blue-red Ponza deck NA. Do it. Do it. Yeah, just stifle the shit out of that fetch land. Yeah, just draw a card too. Was it good for you, opponent? It was good for me. It was good for me. Alright, so we're just gonna windmill slam this Fevered Visions here. Not close. Just get into play. They probably can't take this card off of the table, Sands and Engineered Explosives, and we actually have Obstructionist to stop an EE. This card's gonna kill them very quickly. This is secretly the best card in this deck, or not so secretly maybe. If you've played this deck before, you know that Fevered Visions is actually the best card in this deck. They would flip the table. Oh geez, are they passing again? Have you learned nothing? Have you learned nothing, opponent? Have we not taught you a valuable lesson about fetching around Nimble Obstructionist? Oh my god, we get to do it again! We get to do it again. Just fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, this is entirely your fault. This was preventable, opponent. This was preventable. You could have avoided this whole thing from happening to you. But instead, here we are. Here, I just want you to know that you've made this bed, and now you have to lie down in it. I'm gonna Boomerang your land during your upkeep. Spell Snare. So the actual reason why I have Nimble Obstructionist in the sideboard is because it stifles Storm, so it's good against Storm. Do I want to remand the Boomerang? I kind of want to remand my Boomerang here. I feel like Stone Raining them is probably more important though. Do 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 do. They're going to 15 here. We get to play a second Fevered Visions next turn. Okie doke. And like I said, like, their deck just, like, basically never beats Fevered Visions. They need to have, like, exactly engineered explosives. Like, they have no pressure. They can't really leverage the extra cards. Like, they're basically taking 4 a turn now. Yep, nimbling O-Stones is also great. 10 out of 10 agree. No reason to blink here. Draw your cards, take your 4. You dying. Honestly, I might just be holding this Obstructionist. I'm not going to kill a land with it, I don't think, because I'm pretty sure their only out to these Fevered Visions is Engineered Explosives at this point, and I just want to stifle Engineered Explosives if they have it. They can Cryptic Bounce. I think this is fine. I think, like, when you're in a position like this where we're really far ahead, the question you want to be asking yourselves is, how do I lose this game? And I think the answer to the question, how do I lose this game, is letting Engineered Explosives clear my stuff. Like a Counter Squall or something here that I don't care about. Remand, yep. Just gonna pass here. Oh, we found a no button. Look at that. I like my no button. Correct, yeah. Especially, you should watch the first game from this match and see why. I don't currently have Flux for EE. Oh, I do have Flux for EE because I have Simian Spirit Guide. I do have a monkey. To be fair, Surgical's just I would expect my opponent not to have enough cards to board in against us. So, like, their Surgical's coming in is, like, not unreasonable. We have a very minimal amount of win conditions. Yeah. Like, I don't think bringing in Surgical against our deck is, like, unreasonable in the slightest. It's probably better than, like, a random removal spell like a Fatal Push. Patient Presence with Serve, Fever, and Hallucinations. Likely Diagnosis drew too many magic cards. Thanks to the Bit Golgotha. Yep. You gotta get to less than 4 cards in hand, opponent. Less than 4. After you draw. This deck runs Spirit Guide because we draw so many extra cards with our Howling Mine effect that the card disadvantage from getting the extra mana from Spirit Guide is largely negated by how our deck operates. They also know we have this Boomerang here too, so, like, They have to get to like one card in their hand to not take damage, which is just not happening. And I can Mikokoro them. You're down to 2. Yep, start my turn. No reason to make any plays here. Oh, look at that. We found some more no buttons. Yes, this deck is about generating tempo against your opponent. So using extra cards to generate more mana faster against your opponent is like the definition of tempo. Turn 1 Howling Mine is also aces. Look at him doing stuff. I believe they're in the denial stage of grief. So, if I Counterflux here on this Dispel, then my Remand resolves and sends the Dispel back to their hand. And then if they replay that Dispel, they still have 3 cards in their hand, which means my Fevered Visions are going to kill them. So they should just be dead here, right? Because I wanted my Remand to resolve, so they'd have to recast that Dispel, because it keeps them using their mana. Like, the Reality Shape Smasher Fevered Visions. Look at that. 1 and 1. Well, we're waiting for the third match to pop in this league. I'd just like to thank everyone for hanging out here today. My name's Jeff Hoagland. I stream full-time here on Twitch. If you're enjoying my stuff, please consider subscribing to my channel. My subscribers are the wonderful folks that keep me employed. Also consider checking out some of our wonderful sponsors. Cardsphere.com. Love to help you turn some of your Magic cards into other cards or cash to other players. There's no haggling. They just take 1% fee off the top. Mack Weldon provides premium men's clothing using code Jeff Hoagland at bit.ly/Google Clothes. You can save 20% on your orders there. They do premium shorts, underwear, socks, t-shirts, polos, all sorts of great stuff there. If you've been thinking about using that code, you'll want to make sure you do that because the campaign for Mack Weldon is going to be ending on this channel through the end of the month. So that's when that code will stop being live. And of course, this stream wouldn't be possible without viewers like Anoronic, Justin, Nivik, and all y'all out there. Thanks for hanging out, folks. If you are enjoying stuff, make sure to hit that follow button. Following the stream doesn't cost you anything. It lets you know when I go live and with what. I feel like this is close. No boomerangs on the play. Thanks for the bits, Johnny K. I feel like I'm supposed to mulligan this. No boomerangs, no mines on the play. This hand is much better. Has a turn 1 Howling Mine. Bottom of Mikokoro, looking for boomerangs at this point. This deck is too good. It was on a feature match during a Star City event, so you know it's tier 1, right? It feels like it plays 1 Trap, right? Like, Trap is like the second best card in the deck after Fevered Visions. There's a reason we're playing 4. Yeah, when I set up with Mac Weldon, they were never going to be a long-term sponsor QA. Things that are non-gaming related, they burn out and like stop seeing returns on what they're giving you. It's burn deck. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. It doesn't look like they're playing Judge. I think they might be playing something like HollowVine here. Yeah, it looks like HollowVine. They discarded Lore and Vengevines. Definitely HollowVine. Hey, chat. Hey, chat, watch this. All right, good. Got him. We're probably still dead, but I feel like we've accomplished the moral victory here. Hey, Bikes, thanks for the Twitch Prime. I appreciate that. Welcome. God, this card is can we ever beat this card? Can we ever beat this card? It's get to discard their whole hand. It's so unfair. It's so unfair. The one with nothing nightmare came true, right? Yeah, it's very sad that they can Beaumont in response to Trap. This is probably an unwinnable matchup. We're going to give it the best here. I don't know that we're going to play all 3 games in this one. We might just roll on to the next. These aggressive decks that just get to play their cards out quickly are real bad for us. Yeah, we basically, like, need to draw another Exhaustion next turn and, like, have them not have lands. So if we draw an Exhaustion land here, we could be in a good spot. But without that, we're going to be pretty dead. Yeah, are we dead on board? This is 8, 9, 10, 11. So we're not dead on board. So I guess we'll just do this and then play Howling Mine and then pass the turn here. Your humans matchup actually isn't unwinnable because Anger of the Gods and Slagstorm like kill their creatures. The fact that like my opponent has like Hallowed ones that live through Anger of the Gods is what makes this extra miserable. Zalgaltha with the brand new, or with the 9-month resubscription. I do appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for the 3/4 of your support. And actually, another thing, like the traditional red-black Hollowed One deck actually isn't that bad of a matchup for this deck because Boomerangs bouncing their Delve creatures and their Hollowed Ones is pretty decent. But the fact that our opponent's deck has Bomat Courier on top of all that makes it pretty exceptionally bad for us. Yeah, but you can bounce those. We have a bunch of ways to send those back to their hand. Yeah, we need an exhaustion here. We did not find one. I guess I could Skeins. I could Skeins here. But we're just gonna die to these, right? Yeah, I'm just gonna move on to the next one. There's no point in playing unwinnable matchups when you're playing a meme. Let's dive back on in here, shall we? How did Bant go? We were 2-1. I punted the 4th match potentially, and then I stopped playing because I really didn't like the build we were playing, Jet. It was a viewer submitted build, and they just like had made a lot of really bad card choices that I didn't like. You should. It's worth watching if you like the Bant Friends deck, just to like kind of see me talk about why some of the decisions they made didn't feel very good. I think. God, what a bad die roll to lose. Nah, multiple traps wasn't good enough because the opponent could just discard their hand to Bomat Courier. Opponents mulligan to 5. They're ghosting. They have the anti-Howling Mine tech. They're going to mulligan super low and we'll never beat them. Please be Tron. Please be Tron. Stomping Ground. Another Valakut deck, maybe? I think we would have beaten the Valakut deck round 1 if I'd have played a little bit better. His hand's like not amazing, but I think double Boomerang's a keep. See if we can find out what they have going on over here. Flamekin Harbinger. Find Venge. Is this the same deck? Is this the same deck we just played against? People in chat, should everybody thinks that this is only if they draw 2? They have to draw 3 cards, chat. Please read the magic cards if you're going to tell me I don't know how they work. Because trust me, I know how a lot of them work. I appreciate corrections when you're actually correct. If you're not correct, you're just yelling things that are wrong at me. It's not a correction if you're wrong. If we don't see Bomat Couriers, we'll play this out. If they have Bomat Couriers, it's probably pretty bad for us. The anti-Howling Mine tech is Bomat Courier. I'm gonna teach you, I'm gonna give everyone a social media lesson right here. You see this? You see this? Why not print answers like Counterspell? There's this button over here and there's this mute button, and then you never have to hear from people this silly ever again. It's not worth your time responding to stuff like that. Just hit the mute button and move on with your life. You'll be much happier for it. Huge QOL improvement. So I think I want to just get this Howling Mine down and then Boomerang something this turn. Nah, social media is important when you do what I do. It's an important part of my job. Zalgaltha, Hoagland's best-selling book, How to Not Get Overly Frustrated. No, the problem, the people who think Counterspell is what would fix Modern for control decks, how does Counterspell help you beat Dredge? How does Counterspell help you not die to Storm on turn 3? Like, the decks where Counterspell is good against, how does it help you against multiple Hollow ones on turn 1? Counterspell isn't good enough. It doesn't actually fix the problems that these decks have in Modern. It basically doesn't do anything. That's great. That's great. Whoa, that's a beating. That's a Gore Clan Rampager. All right. Yes, Logic Knot is basically Counterspell a lot of the time. Yep. Ooh, that's another Runeflare Trap. Can we steal this here? We might be in steal this range at this point, right? So if we Exhaustion them, they're not going to have any untaps here. And then next turn, they're going to go to 5, 6, 7 cards. And then I double trap them and they should die here. Another Exhaustion is amazing as well. So we're just going to Exhaustion them again next turn, right? So they're going to go to 14 here. So these traps aren't quite lethal yet, but they'll be lethal next turn most likely. Now they're guaranteed lethal during the draw step. To be fair, the control decks that are good in tier 1 in Modern are good in tier 1 because they can be burn decks when they need to be burn decks. The reason why Jeskai is good is because it's proactive when it needs to be proactive. And that's fine. If that's what a control deck needs to be good in Modern, that's fine. When people are talking about control not being good, they're talking about decks like Esper Control and stuff like that, in my mind, I think. Which I think is a fair comparison. This deck is awful against Burn and it's awful against Storm. This is probably not good enough. All right, how are we boarding here? Ebony Owl's real bad. Yeah, we're awful against decks that can empty their hand or cast all their spells. Item Nowhere is probably a little mediocre. Give this a go. Let's do it. Corey Burkhart went 12-3 at Vegas, but that wasn't Control going 12-3. That was Corey Burkhart going 12-3. Yeah, but again, like, that's a tempo deck, Harlan, right? Like, that's not a control deck. Like, putting a large threat into play, I'm like, sure, tempo means aggro control, so you could maybe argue that I'm splitting hairs there. But I agree that, like, that style of deck could be fine with Counterspell. You're right. You can't play Logic not with Delve Creatures. I agree with that assessment. No, I've never spent enough time playing in Wizards of the Coast events to play on the Pro Tour. Are they a Bushwhacker deck? That makes sense. Not this turn, they're not. Do I just anger here? I probably just want to anger here, right? Just like preserve my health total. I mean, Blue Moon with Goyf isn't a very good deck, Harlan. But yeah, that's probably a tempo-esque deck, right? We have some disruption here, but we don't really have our primary game plan going just yet. Well, budget deck is the most competitive. I would recommend going to mtggoldfish.com, clicking on the metagame tab, and then looking at the prices of the decks that have been successful there. Eight Whack is pretty good. 8 Whack is a very reasonable Magic the Gathering deck. Alright, so I think I'm just sticking this other Fevered Visions here, and I'm going to give them one more turn here so Sangre Gods get a little bit more value. This might be, it's almost certainly greedy, but I need to get going so like I'm actually killing them, I think. It's also possible they're just going to like play all their cards out and not die to these Visions anyways. Alright, well that ended up better than expected. Destructive Revelry, that's pretty good. Alright, so I'm going to anger, leaving my Cascade Bluffs up so that way I can cast a Boomerang if we need to. This is why there's Cascade Bluffs in the deck for reference. So you can do exactly what I just did there. I didn't watch the finals of the Grand Prix. I went to bed. I agree with what Bob said. I think there's probably a very good chance that the Tron player that was playing against that deck had never played against it before. So, am I supposed to Boomerang these? Or am I supposed to... I think I just Cryptic tap their team, right? I'm gonna fetch a basic island and Cryptic tap their team here. And then at their end of turn, I'm actually gonna get to Runeflare Trap them, which is sweet. Because they drew a card with Insolent Neonate, which makes this their third draw for the turn. So this is gonna put them to 8, and then Runeflare Trap's gonna put them to 3 here. We need an Exhaustion, we could win the game. Eye of Nowhere. It's not terrible. Send this back from where it came. And I can Boomerang the other one here. That's a good one, because with the Spirit Guide, I can Dictate. I don't think I want to Dictate to make them draw a card this turn, because their hand's pretty full here. We could die this turn. It's been a close game. See if they have 2 creatures to cast here. What's going on, Mr. Maple Syrup? Harbinger, yep. So we're going to be dead to a Bolt here. Oh, geez, we're dead to Faithless Looting, plus a creature here. There's a deck list on your screen. If you're on mobile, you can type !deck in chat to get a link to the deck list. That's a good line from the opponent. Shame we didn't have another Runeflare. We are really bad at having 2 Runeflare traps in the top half of our deck today. It's kind of impressive how bad we are at it. Is this a Chalice matchup? They have Neonate, they have Harbinger. This is probably a Chalice matchup, right? What have we seen? We've seen Faithless, Harbinger. Maybe it's not enough. We've basically just seen Faithless and Harbinger. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it as is. Neonate, that's 3 cards. I feel like I want to hit 20 plus with Chalice before I bring it in. You can maybe argue that these remands aren't good enough. I could believe that. Yeah, but like stopping Memnite doesn't really accomplish a whole lot. I'd be surprised if they probably like 16 or so 1-drops, which I think is just too shy of bringing in a bunch of Chalices. Maybe Slag is fine for cleaning up their non-Vengevine threats. Nah, I think Stiflebird's a little medium. I think I'd rather have Remand, especially on the play. Opponent must have had something IRL come up. Hope everyone's having a good Sunday out there. Thanks for hanging out here today. Remember, if you're enjoying the stuff, be sure to follow the channel if you're new. That lets you get notifications when I go live and with what. If you can't catch me when I go live, always check out my YouTube channel after the fact. Everything gets archived there, so 100% of the decks that we play get published there afterwards. Always put the deck list in the description as well if you're interested in what the specific deck lists are. Seems good. Turn 2 Fevered Visions on the play. And we got Exhaustions and Boomerangs to buy a little bit of time here. And a Dictate as well. What's going on, guys? The same bat. Depending on what they've been here, I could see it being right to just, like, Boomerang their land. It's probably right to just stick Fevered Visions and get the card advantage going. Especially with the Exhaustion in hand. Another Exhaustion. Yeah, let's just start generating cards and hopefully killing them. They probably can't get down below 3 cards in their hand this turn, so this will nug them. If the Fevered Visions, hopefully Fevered Visions can like get them in the range of killing them with a single what's it called, trigger, or a single Runeflare Trap. Get them into like the 8 to 10 range. People just love the type of Magic that Ponza plays for whatever reason. If you're a Ponza player, you should try this deck. It's just like Ponza, it's also not good, but it's sweeter. You get to draw more cards. Ugh. Well, we really need to draw a land next turn. Yeah, I agree, Mr. Maple Syrup. Hopefully we don't get like double Vengevine this turn. Whoa, no plazes. That's pretty good for us. All right. No plays, huh? So do I Boomerang them or do I just like stick the Dictate here? I think I just want to stick the Dictate, right? Just like give myself the best chance to hit all my land drops. And I'm not playing the Dictate out proactively because I don't want to give them the extra card first, I don't think. I want like them to have like the least possible chance of flipping a Vengevine into play this turn, but it looks like that's going to happen. I mean, like, going off doesn't really kill us, right? Especially with like, I have double Time Walk in my hand at the moment here. They need like infinite Burning Tree Emissaries here into an 8-whack. All right, so I think I want to shock this in and then just tap draw their team this turn. So that way my Exhaustion can be a full fog. Like, I really don't want my Exhaustion to be a partial fog. Yeah, double BTE into Destructive Revelry was one of their better sequences there. And like, this is also more mana efficient too, which is nice. Like now, so do I Howling Mine plus Exhaustion? I feel like I Boomerang plus Exhaustion, right? Feel like I Boomerang plus Exhaustion here. Just be as conservative as possible. Just like try and build their hand up a little bit so that way we can kill them with a, what's it called, effect? I don't know, we get a bunch of looks here. If we draw a land next turn, we get to go Exhaustion plus Fever Visions, which is nice. It's irrelevant when we Boomerang. I'm just gonna press my auto pass key. Like, I know I'm Boomeranging the Tarmogoyf, so like it doesn't matter. If we don't draw an untapped land, we get to cast Howling Mine plus Dictate this turn. Do they just Spirit Guide us? Can respect a fellow monkey deck. I think I'm just supposed to shock this in. It cuts us off of fetch lands, but 1 and 3 are pretty similar here, I think. So we need another Exhaustion or Cryptic Command, potentially. Yeah, we died a bolt either way. Exactly. We do die to Gut Shot now, you're not wrong. So we get 3 shots and an Exhaustion here. That's true. Revelry being lethal is a relevant one. Yeah, some of the humans listed online were added some gut shots. Seemed like interesting technology. Double trap kills them. I believe that's all she wrote. Yeah, it came up a little short. God, we had Angers in our deck too, right? We have 4 copies of Anger in our deck. We can draw Cryptic on the Fever Visions. Yep. It's like 0 traps in our top 26 cards again. It's pretty unfortunate. Like I said, I feel like we're this deck definitely isn't tiered by any means. Gosh, we were 1 off. I feel like we've run a little bit bad so far today. Just like trying to find like our 4 ofs in the top half of our deck. All right, let's play the last one. Often call it quit. Stayed for the memes. Rekindled soul. Thank you for the 4-month resubscription at the tier 2 level at that. I appreciate that. Let me know via a whisper what deck you'd like to bump in the queue this month. Just a friendly reminder that tier 2 subs, because they support me for that little bit extra amount, they get to bump a deck in the queue by 10 points every single month. It's fine. I think the games have been fun. I'm having fun playing the games. Hopefully having fun watching the games. Even without winning, I feel like the puzzle of like figuring out how not to die with this deck is a lot of fun. And then with the Runeflare Traps, like while you're figuring out not to die, a lot of the time if you can draw a Runeflare Trap, you're just like, oh hey, Runeflare Trap, kill you. I would assume a deck like this will never be competitive in Modern. Fully competitive. You think this list is fully tuned to not getting there? No, I think we spent a lot of time playing this deck. I think it's pretty close to what you can get to optimal, working within the confines of like winning with Runeflare Trap and like Howling Mine effects. I think the conclusions I arrived at with this give me a reasonable chance in a lot of these matchups. I think I punted that first match we had against Valakut, and I think that last match we just played, we got pretty unfortunate in both those second games. I do love drawing me some cards. I do love drawing me some cards. Hey, Therong with the 3-month Twitch Prime resubscription. Thanks for sending your Amazon fun money this way again this month. I do appreciate that. Welcome back. You think bans are less likely this cycle because they're afraid of banning before a Pro Tour? I have no idea. This hand, we're on the draw, and we've got this into this, so hopefully we can just find a land here. Trying to predict what Wizards of the Coast does with their ban list is like an exercise in frustration in my experience, so I just try not to do it. If we draw Spirit Guide, we get to turn 1 Howling Mine. Fishes, eh? Wonder how this goes. Our 3 damage sweepers are like kind of okay. So this card, if you cover this H up here, says Howling Mine on it. So there are 4 Howling Mines. There are 4 Howling Mines in our deck. The H is silent, exactly. So you understand. You understand? Yeah, there's literally a bird in the corner of the artwork too. See upper right-hand corner there? There's a bird. We're gonna pretend that's an owl. I just played a league versus Shrine KCH. Is your computer okay, Holy Diva? Do you need a repair person for your computer after that league? I might need a repair person for my computer after that league. There's your owl right there, yep. Hoo-hoo, hoo-hoo. The minimal result needed to not break anything. Silvergill, Revealing Master, yep. We're so bad at drawing lands. Let's just play the next game. Did the GP coverage start already? People are paying attention to things like that. The GP coverage started already, right? Okay, and there's still people here? I'll play one more league after this. Yeah, so I was hoping 700 people is an okay amount of people for my stream. I think we'll do one more league after this one. I don't like to stream against major events, but I feel like the portion of people that want to watch Modern versus Limited, we're going to have an okay amount of people. I think I'm going to stream next weekend. There's a Standard Grand Prix. I think I might stream against the Standard Grand Prix. Sand is great. We've got a sweeper. We've got a turn 2 mine. I think maybe I'll change my coverage rule that I just won't stream against Modern or Legacy. I feel like there's a good chunk of my audience, my regular audience, that just like doesn't care about Limited and Standard. What is the all-time high viewer count? I think I hit 1900 when we did the 12-hour Howling Mine stream once upon a time. My average concurrent viewers is somewhere just above 700, so 780 here above my average is like pretty reasonable. Yeah, so for those of you that are subs or people that just like the content that aren't subscribed, I posted in the subs Discord for this week to celebrate hitting 1,500 sub points. I'm going to be, Christy and the kids are going away to Chicago next weekend to visit family, and I've been given the okay to stay here and try and work through the donation queue. So I am going to do Friday and Saturday this week. We're going to do some 12-hour streams. I'm going to be on for 12 on Friday and be on for 12 on Saturday next weekend as well. All right, so do I want to play the Dictate now? I might just want to Boomerang this Aether Vial, right? I think I'm going to Boomerang the Aether Vial. I think that just like gives them too many ways to get things into play too quickly. So next weekend's going to be a test to see if streaming more actually makes the queue go down, or if streaming more just encourages more people to send more decks and it just stays the same. I think there's a non-zero chance that streaming more means I just like more people send more decks and it stays the same, but we'll find out next weekend, I guess. I think I'm gonna upkeep this Dictate, so that way I can draw an extra card from it. We'll see what happens on the 18th. We will definitely see what happens tomorrow. I also feel like, depending on what happens tomorrow, it's probably not a bad idea to plan to stream more next week. My goal in general with the queue is to keep everything below 50 points. So that way, if someone wants to donate $50 to get their deck played right away, that's my goal. All right, so this is going to be a Slagstorm turn for sure, because if they get a third Lord to play, the Slagstorm is no longer clear. We're probably pretty dead here. I'd have to imagine this matchup's kind of hard for us. They have more Lords than humans does, or they click through their combat step. That might be good for us. Can you pay to be on Twitch's French page? You can't, that I'm aware of. But actually, I was actually talking to my Twitch rep, and I've hit a large enough audience here on Twitch that I actually filled out. They have a forum that lets you apply to be on their front page a couple of times a week for like a couple of weeks. So at some point later this year, that will happen for the channel, which should be sweet and interesting. I don't know how having a Magic stream on the front page will translate to more viewers or not, but we'll see. It could. You never know. The last game of Turbo PA was great. The last game of Turbo PA was fantastic. Do I just slam this Chandra here? I like my hand, so I don't really want to discard it. Can I kill them during their draw step here? I think I can kill them inside of their draw step, right? Potentially. Depends on what this vial does. I can get pretty close to killing them. I might be able to deal enough damage with Runeflare Trap so I can untap and kill them with Chandra. So, people have asked me if I've thought about increasing my donation price, and the reason why I don't do that is a lot of people that have higher prices charge like $25 to $50 to do that a lot of the time. And if you send $25 to $50 for a deck on this channel, you're gonna get played almost immediately, a lot of the times immediately for 50 plus. And my goal is to make it so that way people who have smaller amounts of money can still send sweet deck lists in on occasion, so that way other people can vote decks up on the queue that they didn't necessarily put in there. Like, there are multiple people on this channel that occasionally cruise the deck queue and like look for things and go, oh, that looks sweet, I want to donate to see that played sooner. So like, there are a number of decks that like multiple people have sent money in for. So, the base price is cheap, but it encourages people to subscribe to the channel, and it allows people to choose whether they can wait with time, or they can, it's gonna be like double Spell Pierce, or they're just like Spell Pierce me to get cards out of their hand. I mean, to be fair, most of the decks we play on this channel are bad. Bad decks are sweet, chat. Oh, no. Oh, no. They have 4 fucking Spell Pierces in their deck? God, sometimes they just want it far more than you, chat. Sometimes they just want it far, far more than you. So... no, there was a 4th one in their bin for people that weren't watching earlier. No, I played it off. I didn't record it, Immortal. How long ago did I start streaming on Twitch? So I've been streaming on Twitch off and on for the better part of like 3.5, 4 years now. I think it was like fall 2013 that I started, or 2014. But I didn't start doing this full time until a couple of months ago. And for a good chunk of my streaming, I didn't stream Magic. Mostly focused on just digital card games. 4-color allies look sweet. Let's give that some points. See, like that. Neckbearded Drago. Thank you. Thank you for the 500 bits. I'll be happy to bump that up. So this deck, I like this build of Howling Mine. I think if you want to play this sweet meme archetype, I'm pretty confident that this configuration is close to optimal. Yeah, that's all I really have to say. I think I punted the first match that we played against Red Green Titan Shift. It was a sweet match overall, so if you didn't catch that, you should go back and watch it on YouTube later if you like this deck. And I think we ran a little bit bad against the Red Green HollowVine deck, the second one. All right, what are we doing next? What do I have? It's Black Green Rock. Yeah, let's wrap up with something fair. Let's make